Hello and welcome to another Keymaster episode. I'm Sven and today I have my friend
Olle Johansson.
And we want to get into CVEs, which are the critical vulnerability exploitabilities. So Uli, what is it, or Uli, someday I'm going to get that right. What is a CVE and why do I care?
Well, as a customer, you want to know whether you're secure or not. So you create software bill of materials, which we spoke about earlier, remember?
Yeah.
And if you don't, there's a link beneath us here
Hopefully
on
it's
YouTube.
below.
Yeah, below us. But you want to check all your components and all your IT infrastructure, whether there are any new reports on vulnerabilities that you need to fix. And that is critical to keep you safe and secure. And if you're a manufacturer of devices, with the coming legislation like the EU Cyber Resilience Act, you have an obligation to keep your customers safe and secure. So you need to check all your upstream components, both open source and commercial, for known vulnerabilities, especially those that are known to be exploited by hackers.
Wow, that's a lot now to keep track of.
Yes, and it's important to keep track of it. But guess what?
What?
Right now we can't.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Well, there's an important field in the SBOM, which is the component name.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And that needs to match something in the CVE data, a component name.
Like the jar file name or what library it was?
Yeah, let's take a random PKI platform like EBCA, right?
Uh-huh.
So we need that name to be in our SBOM. And if there are any critical vulnerabilities in that software, we need it to match with the vulnerability. Now, the system works like this, that we have open source projects or commercial vendors that report CVEs.
Yes.
Either by themselves, if they're a CVE numbering authority, or through a third party, like Red Hat or GitHub. So they all end up in the CVE data, managed by the CVE program, which is funded by Mitre in the US. Now, that data is then imported to the National Vulnerability Database, which is a separate organization, also funded by US government. And they add the names, right?
Yeah.
But they're not doing it. Since February last year, they added only a few percent of the CVEs coming. They added names and severity scores.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
So even though we have a huge flow of CVEs, we can't match them.
So what are they doing in the industry then? How are we getting around that?
We are working with other databases that actually add that. And there's a lot of vendors that have commercial databases that add that. But in most cases, we're in the dark.
So it's operating in silos again now because we're not operating uniformly through the whole ecosystem where everybody can have a place to go.
And the interesting part here is that all of this leaves the defenders, the companies using software, in the dark. And here in Europe, we're writing a lot of new regulations. We talked about NIS2, we talked about the Cyber Resilience Act, and they depend on systems like this. But the EU has not stepped forward with funding for these systems. And as you know, there's a lot of things going on over there right now. You probably are more aware of it than I. So we can't really be assured that there will be funding for these systems for a long time. So right now I'm working with a project where we're trying to build a long-term international organization with multiple stakeholders to manage the system, because we believe the CVEs needs to be freely available for everyone across the world, right?
Yes.
They shouldn't be locked in by a single government or organization. And we need to have some agility. There are new things coming on the horizon with AI and other issues like post-quantum crypto, which we'll cover in another episode of Keymaster. And you have already covered links
down below.
Down below. But right now, there's a lot of discussions about CVE, because before Easter, there was a hiccup in the funding. And by reading social media, the whole world got information that the CVE program only had 24 hours left.
That's pretty scary.
It was scary. It wasn't really the truth, but that was how we parsed it. Because there was a funding discussion between different departments funding the media organization. In the last minute, CISA stepped forward and said, oh, we're going to provide funding for 11 more months.
Okay, so a little more runway, but what about long term?
Yes, what about long term? I think we really need to work together as a community, and I'm working a lot with that right now. And we will provide you with links to that work. But I think this is critical for the security for all the customers and all the manufacturers. But we also need to add a little bit of a missing bit. In my personal view, we need to add trust.
And what is your view of how do we add trust?
Well, I've been working with PKI systems for a long time, so it's quite easy for me to open the PKI toolbox and say, well, we need digital signatures.
Well, that's a good start.
On the CVEs. But that means no one can change them, right?
Yes.
And the CVE system have a core CVE, and then we have additional data that we add on top, and that needs to be signed as well. And as an end user, a defender, I can look at all these objects signed and decide whom to trust. And I think that's where we need to go.
And who would run the signing then? Do you have thoughts on that? Where would that be run by the organization that you're looking to put together, or who would control doing the signing so we can trust it?
If Keyfactor opens an issue saying we have a problem with EGBCA in theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keyfactor needs to sign that, saying,
okay,
we are behind the statement. We are sure that this statement is true. Now, if another entity, like a security researcher, wants to add information to that, saying, oh, I know about known exploit, or it's even worse than the vendor is saying, that's another object that needs to be signed by them. But the question then comes, how do we build trust chains?
Yeah.
Where are the trust anchors? And we need to start discussing that. We need to start solving that problem.
Okay.
We only have a short time. So I need you to join my project and start working on it.
All right. Have to look at that then.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good look into CVEs and what's been happening in the industry. And let's keep the conversation going, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sven.